Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at BTC against its USDT pair. Thank you for watching this video, and if you'd like to show your support, please hit that like and subscribe button. Feel free to comment with any feedback you may have, and while you're down there you can find a link to our Discord. This is where the magic happens. We have live AMAs with the whole team twice a week, live chart analysis daily, Elliott wave theory lessons, TA requests for our members, and a whole list of other things going on in there. Why not come and have a look? Once in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff and we'll be happy to help you out. Also in the description below, you'll find an affiliate link to BYBIT. This is one of the best exchanges in our opinion, whether you want to leverage trade or just spot trade. It's the one we use. It really is a great exchange. Okay, so let's get into the price action. So we were looking at this initially as having an additional fourth and a fifth wave here, but remember in yesterday's video I said we need to see how this reacts in this fourth wave, this previous fourth wave zone, and once it started to lose that, it was obvious that we were going to drop down lower here. So there's two ways of looking at this still, and so I want to see how this reacts more before I get anything set in my mind as to what I think it is. Sometimes we've got to let these markets develop and prove to us that we have completion and things like that. So there's one way of looking at this as a 1-2. All of this is a third wave. This is a triangle with WXI. You can look at it as a triangle into this point or WXY into that point. And then basically we have this five-way move to the upside here, and that's completed within there. Then now we seem to have this fifth five-way move to the downside, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. There is a potential that there is an additional fifth in here because you've got a little bit of overlap here. We got this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So we could have an additional fourth wave here, and then this is looking to be a fifth wave to the downside, though I think it looks neater the way it is. If there was an additional fifth wave to the downside here, it would probably look to target out the 16,824 to 16,740 area. If that's the case, then we could look at this as this fourth wave actually being here, and this fifth wave would look to come down into this zone here. So I'm going to leave it here for the moment though, because it looks like it could be complete there as well. The 1 hour is indicating we could come down, so we'll just have to monitor that. If we start to drop and we break below this this low point here again of 16,875, that could be potentially where we're looking to settle, because the 4 hourly and the 8 hourly are oversold currently. So it would kind of fit that if we start to move down again in one last little drop, it might bring this 1 hourly down, and then we could look for a move to the upside. If we don't drop down to those zones indicated there, then we would be looking at the potential that we're having this ABC to the upside. And what we would be looking for is this is an A wave, looking for B wave. It's possible this B wave could be completed into this low, or it could have another drop to the downside. If it does have another drop to the downside, then we'd be looking potentially testing some of these lows here of 16,900 and then looking for a push to the upside. Currently, the one-to-one to the upside of this A wave brings us into the 17,173 area. If we're going to have an ABC to the upside like this to complete this B wave into this zone of 17,333 to 17,130, then basically what we'd be looking at is this B wave coming up here and then looking for another 5-wave move to the downside. So if we move up to this 618 area, there's not enough to build off of this move, but this one-to-one could slightly extend, reach us there, could hit this 50% potentially, line up with this previous fourth, and then carry on dropping. It's not certain for the time being where that is because we don't have enough structure to plot it off here. So that's what I'm looking out for. A move up into this zone and then further rejection to the downside. The target as one-to-one off of this wave, off of this one-to-one area, would be 16,634, and that would be that could be a completed ABC. Though, if we So that would also tie in quite nicely with the support zone here, the 16,729 to 16,208. Be in between this zero point 0.5 retracement and 0.618 retracement currently. It could look to move slightly lower and hit the 618. That would be the ideal support zone. But we also need to be mindful off of this area here, a move straight down to the 16,337 area would then create an impulsive move to the downside. So if we measure this, so that's off this 1-to-1. That's correct. Yeah. So if we move up to this 1-to-1, becomes our impulsive trigger. The 16,337 on a 5-wave move drop past after this ABC would then basically make it impulsive. Off this current high point here, the swing high here, we've got 16,272 as the impulsive trigger. So that would be if we just move down from where we are. Though I think we could still potentially move up a little bit more for this B wave, and then look to drop down at a later stage. So if we do start to think about some of the bigger picture things here, if this did complete here as a zigzag, we could potentially look to the option that we might be making another zigzag down here to form a D wave of a triangle. If that's the case, then we would expect to see a 5-wave move followed by a 3-wave move up and then another 5-wave move down to these low points. Though we wouldn't want to cross below this 15,473. Dropping below that would then invalidate the potential of a triangle. Also, moving back above 17,421 would invalidate the potential of developing a zigzag to the downside here. Okay, so this is the one option that we're looking for, but we need to be mindful that we could still potentially be developing a bigger 5-wave move here, and what we could have is this is a 1, and then we're looking to form a 2 again. So to be basically what you'd have is 1 2 1 2, and then we'd look for progression. But that being said, if that is the case, from the completion of this wave 2, wherever it forms within this, possibly on the 618 area, we would want to start to see some impulsive movement to the upside. Otherwise, otherwise it just starts to lose steam because normally it takes a bit to form your first sort of 1-2s. It might be a 1-2 again in here, but then you want to start seeing some progression to the upside and you want to really get going. Failing to do so would indicate that there is probably something else going on, and we're either going to we're going to either start to drop off from this point, or we're going to form a zigzag and come down as a triangle, or basically that this could just be an A wave. We move up in a B and we have to look to move down deeper. So that's what I'm looking at for this one. If I jump over to this one, so within this option, we were looking at the potential of this being a completed zigzag and then looking to push up again higher into this potential rejection zone. And basically what this would then just form is a bigger ABC to the upside. So with this option, what we'll be looking for is moving down deeper into the 16,439 to 15,752, with the 16,212 being the 0.618 retracement. And if that does play out, then what we would have here is basically a zigzag up into this high, then looking for a corrective move to the downside here again to retest this zone. Ideally, if this does play out and it's just going to be an A, B, and a C like this, I'd like it to come down and actually take out this low, because then at least we have one less thing it can be. But it probably won't do that, so we'll have to continue monitoring multiple scenarios. But yeah, dropping below this 15,995 area would basically invalidate this being able to extend further, this 5-wave move here. So we'd have to just look at it as a zigzag up into this point. So that's what we're looking out for in this one. Dropping below this 15476 would indicate to me that, but by that time we would have more structure anyway, but it would be indicating that we're potentially in another leg to the downside if we break below this with 5-wave structure. Um, if I have a look at this move here, this was a low confidence count that I had. Just based off of the fact that we can also count this first move here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 with the extended fifth wave. Um, this would be looking at this move slightly different. And what we'd be looking at here is basically this would be a 1, 2 again. But I don't have much confidence in the fact that this is going to play out, but I'm still tracking it nevertheless. So what we would be looking at here is that potentially we have this as a 1 again and a 2 as a flat correction. So if that is the case and the C wave is finished here, then basically we wouldn't want to drop back down past this point, the 16,867 area. And then what we would want to start seeing is that we'd want to see basically we want to start to see this move away from this point in impulsive structure. So you'd have something like this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you'd be forming a wave 2. And then what you'd be looking for there is if you start to move up. So this 17,341 is the current impulsive trigger for this move. So if we had a move up past that, then we could potentially start to look at this option again. Though I don't have much confidence in the 16,700 area holding. It is possible that we just move up and then drop down and take this out. If we drop below this 16,705 area, basically that invalidates this potential completely, and we would have to look then to see whether we hold this 15,987 area. If we do, then there is always the potential that we could still see a move where, like we had marked out previously, that's our wave 1, we move down in a wave 2, and then we look to progress up in a wave 3. The daily is still very overbought, so we just need to be mindful that we could also just move down, and as we correct up slowly, if we don't have a lot of volume, that could cause the stochastics to move up quickly with very little price action. And then what that would do is it would just allow us to bring these all up into the overbought area, um, and then look to continue to the downside. So the key thing there really is the volume. If we don't have the volume come in, these could just correct upwards with very little price appreciation, and then basically we could just continue to drop to the downside. So that's what we're looking for on that one. Now, I wanted to talk about, there's a few things, we can see this in a few ways, but this is one that I was looking at last night. It is also possible that we could potentially be looking at this because we're looking at the potential that we have a diagonal here where this is a 1, 2. We'd have to say that we're still forming the third wave, and that's why we're looking for this to be a flat correction and coming up higher so that this wave 3 could complete shorter than this wave 1. Um, but it is possible that we have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 into this low. Then we have this as an ABC to the upside. Then we have another 5-wave move into this low. So 1, 2, 3, triangle 5. Then we're forming another zigzag here. And we could look to move down in an additional 5th wave. Um, and then basically this could form a leading diagonal. If that does play out, then this would actually be just a wave 1, and then we'd have to look for a move to the upside as a B wave or 2, and then look for further continuation to the downside. Hopefully that doesn't happen because that would mean that we'd have to go much lower if that plays out. Until we get more evidence, it can be a lot of things. So we just need to see how it plays out. And I just want to say thank you for watching the video, and if you found the video useful and you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. This really helps us out. I hope everyone has a great day, and until we meet again, keep safe out there, everyone.